Retirement was great, but I'm back.
Yes, you are, in a big way. Dick Weber was the only champion this tournament had known its first 3 years. The great Earl Anthony finally won at the Showboat in 1990 and then left the tour for 5 years. Gary Dickinson won here in 93 en route to being named PBA Senior Player of the Year. Last year, Denny Torgerson won his first championship here in dramatic fashion to set the stage for the Senior Tour's return. Prime Network presents the 11th annual Showboat PBA Senior Invitational from Showboat Hotel, Casino, and Bowling Center in Las Vegas. Welcome to beautiful Showboat Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada for the championship finals of the Showboat Senior Invitational. Hi, everyone. I'm Phil Ferguson, along with my partner, and certainly happy to be here, Dick Weber, just alongside of you. Won 26 national titles, and here you are. And when you talk about this field, an outstanding field to start, and we've got an outstanding finals field of 5 today.
Right, Phil. We had a tremendous field here. We had 331 bowlers here. 4 of those coming from Japan, 1 from Puerto Rico. We had 4 300s in this tournament already. But in that 24-game qualifying, we cut the field to the top 82 after the 24 games. Then we cut the field to the top 24, and they had match play there. And then now we're down to the top 5. We have a tremendous cast. We have a tremendous show, and we're going to have high scores, that's for sure.
I was going to say, great scores all week. Looking for some big scores today.
Oh, you bet.
All right, let's meet now the finals field of 5. Qualifying 5th, a rookie on the senior tour from Japan, Masaaki Saijo. Qualifying number 4, also a rookie, looking for his first senior win, Dale Eagle. Qualifying in the number 3 spot, he's won 1 national title. That was back in 1977. In search of his first senior win, John Denton. Qualifying in the number 2 spot, winner of 7 senior championships, I guess the veteran in this field, Tita Semez. And in the number 1 position, very familiar with the winner's circle, he's won 41 national titles for senior events, the great Earl Anthony. And they'll all be shooting for this beautiful Showboat Invitational trophy and the top prize money of $20,000 this week. Certainly a big payday for the gentleman that ends up on top. $20,000, and the Showboat Senior Crown awaits the winner of this tournament. We'll be back with match 1 in a minute. And the traditional handshake will start the match between 2 competitive bowlers. Dale Eagle looking for his first senior tour win, as well as Masaaki Saijo, and it should be certainly an exciting championship round, Dick. I know the little international flavor here, and you've been able to watch these bowlers because you've been to Japan many, many, many times and seen some of these great players.
That's right, so, you know, I've met this young man a couple of years ago, and Masaaki Saijo, and tremendous bowler, has tremendous talent, can throw the big hook, can throw the straight ball. He can do everything with the bowling ball.
Was not out of the top 5 all week long. Very consistent. In fact, the most consistent player on our finals field. First shot on the way. Solid 4-pin, but a great shot to start the match. And this gentleman here has won 32 titles. He's no stranger to the winner's circle, but that is on the Japanese Professional Bowlers Association Tour.
First visit to the United States, done well. And you know, that first shot on TV, you're a little bit nervous. You have to be a little bit tense. So he come out of it well, leaving the solid 4, and he'll go for the spare.
Should be a fairly easy spare, and he converts. To talk about that, the difference maybe in the style of play, since you've been over to Japan many, many times. I was there once with you back in the early 80s and really had a great time. They treat you so well. But the difference maybe in the bowling there in Japan and here in the States, much difference?
Not that much difference, no, Phil. They've learned quickly from the United States. They have their own bowling balls. They have their own lane conditions. There you go, man. There you go, man.
I tell you what, I think we're going to see some interesting shots from Dale Eagle after he throws the ball, I think.
Well, he gave us the wing shot there, you know, so that's his tradition.
And we may hear from his wife later on. That should be very exciting. Gene certainly sitting there watching Dale Eagle. Of course, Dale has won several titles on the National Tour, but looking for his first senior win. Has done very well early on here on the senior tour.
Yeah, he might be a rookie, but he's not...
Second shot, no doubt about it. So he comes out of the gate with 2 strikes here in this big tournament. He's going to have to go through an outstanding field.
And there's his wife, Jean.
And I know that I know that he's looking forward to competing week in and week out. A lot of these players bowling in just about all the senior events that they have, including yourself.
That's right. It's a great fun. Like Earl said, it's great fun. Great to be with the competitors.
Saijo, the Japanese player.
Beautiful shot on lane 52, and he doesn't look a bit nervous. I don't know.
Like you say, he's won 30-some titles over in Japan. He's been on TV in Japan over there. Of course, first visit to the U.S., like I said. But he's an experienced bowler. He's well conditioned.
32 titles in Japan. That equals a lot of yen. Eagle with a double to start. Saijo, spare strike. Up on 51, looking for the big double. And it looked to me like he got the ball out a little bit and didn't have the speed on that shot.
Let up on the speed, you're exactly right. And he got it out more or less in what we call the dry area. But he'll make his move. Now watch him shoot his spare. He won't try to hook the ball. He'll throw a perfectly straight ball at the spare.
Don't adjust your television sets. Bright yellow trousers. Very colorful player out here. Has really been a welcome addition to the senior tour. And covers it nicely. That's how you do it.
That's exactly it. He shoots all these spares with a straight ball. There's Watazan from the tournament director in JPBA in Japan.
Let's take a look at this shot again because you couldn't draw it up any better. Kids, watch this. Cut back on the hook.
Perfect.
Dale Eagle now looking to take early advantage here in match one. Classic style.
No doubt about it. And he hasn't started to run around yet. I'm looking forward to that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
A big smile from his wife.
He'll get loose out there. He's very animated and very serious about his bowling too. Fifth tournament this year in his rookie year.
Came out really storming Seattle. He led the first round or so and then finished sixth, I believe, in that event and has done very well on the senior circuit. But again, like you had mentioned on the national tour, very well for many years.
He's had that experience. He knows what the bowling balls are all about now. Knows what the lane conditions are.
And that is the key. And I think we'll get into that a little bit later on with the new equipment. But tugged it just a bit, I think. And
well, we're talking there, and I think we put the black clouds in.
Not many black clouds in Vegas. I'll tell you what. I'd like to be a meteorologist here, because how tough could it be? Every day, 106, sunny. Humidity, 18. I don't know.
Humidity doesn't come in effect here, but the heat does. The heat does come in effect with all the people. And Dale Glenn picked up the 3-6 spare.
Dale converts and has got the early lead here in match one of the Showboat Senior Invitational. He leads by 18 pins. Come on back. There's been great all week long. The people come out to watch this exciting tournament. Not only the seniors here, but also the national players come here all the time. John Denton, who will be taking on the winner of this opening match. Congratulations. You haven't won since 1977. It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. I'm excited to be here. This is a showboat. This is the crown jewel of all the tournaments just about, so it's wonderful.
John, you perform well, 223 average for all your 56 games. That's great.
Thanks, Dick. Appreciate that.
Saijo up now in the fourth frame, trailing by 18. Yes.
What do you think of this young man from Japan?
He's a shot maker, buddy. He just repeats those shots about as good as anybody can do it.
He has that clean release, just follow through, and here's we watch with the strike that he's getting. Hey, I remember that strike. 5-7 off the wall, Dick.
I know that when I was in Japan early in the 80s, players went pretty straight, but they've learned the game now and putting little fingers in it and twisting it up a little bit and getting the action.
And also, they can get that thumb release clean. Like we always hold on to the ball too much.
Saijo counters now with a double and is right back in this opening match. And the winner of this game will meet John Denton from Midland, Texas. Looking forward to get back in the winner's circle. 223 average all week. You think 223 for a couple games? Will that win?
The lanes are changing a little bit. Anything's possible out there. You have to be ready for Earl, though. Earl's going to be ready. There's no doubt about that.
Wow, we're talking about Earl. We're in the opening match. Glenn slices through with that one. And certainly putting the heat back on the young Japanese bowler. I wouldn't say young, but he's a rookie on the senior circuit, as is Dale Eagle.
Yeah, 8-pin lead. That's not a tremendous amount of pins to be leading after the 5 frames, but John, you know, have you bowled both of these? I know you've bowled both of these fellas before, but how'd you do with starting out with these fellas?
The regular match play, I bowled Saijo and lost, and we had a pretty nice match in the position round last night, 266, 268. And
Dale leaving the week 10 on that one after a double, as his wife looks on.
Phil, Dale will take these other ball. It's a white ball. It's a very conventional type ball, and he'll also shoot his spares fairly straight.
A lot of players come in with a lot of bowling balls, but I think Saijo came over from Japan with just 3 bowling balls, and I think he used 1 about all week. Now, that's kind of unusual.
Yes, it is. And, John, how many did you use this week?
I used 3 balls all week. That's unusual for me.
I know that Billy Hardwick once told me when he bowled for 2 years with just 1 plastic ball. 1 ball for 2 years. That was way back, wasn't it? Not anymore.
That was the full roller days back then. Joe going for 3 strikes in a row.
Really threw a nice shot. Didn't quite finish on that one. So Saijo leaves the 10-pin here, and a really exciting opening round match now for Saijo. Comes in with about 20 pairs of pants. He brought in more pants and shirts than his bowling balls.
You think he hit that ball a little bit, John, when he released?
I think he touched it a little bit more than he normally has. Yeah. Guys, I need your practice.
Good luck.
All right, good luck to you.
Thanks for coming up.
Thanks, guys.
It's John Denton. He will be meeting the winner of this opening match as Saijo covers in the 6th frame, the 10-pin, all net spare. And we really have an exciting match going. A 9-pin lead now by Dale Eagle through 6 frames.
You know, Phil, Saijo, well, we say Saijo John, which is Mr. Saijo. But anyway, Saijo shoots his 10-pin much differently than most U.S. bowlers. He'll shoot it from maybe between the 2nd and 3rd rail from the right, where all the U.S. bowlers will shoot it from the center rail or farther left.
Really, the fans were behind Saijo all week long.
Oh, he's a crowd favorite. Crowd favorite.
The 3-6-10 there went a bit high, and you know, you've been in this position before. I mean, way back, I guess. Your first couple tournaments, pressure starts to build. Now, as the match goes on, it's a close match.
He has to feel the tension out there. You know, it's not a runaway match for either one of them. So the tension is there, the pressure is there.
Not kidding about the shirts. He's got 100 bowling shirts, 40 pairs of pants, and about 20 watches. Looks very good out there. No doubt about it. As he converts nicely. So, quite a match, a heated match. This opening match of the Showboat Senior Invitational. We'll be back after this.
Ray and I set up shop.
Bring the lanes home with PBA Bowling for Windows 95. Realistic physics. Digitize.
While we're away, Dale Eagle countered with a couple of spares in the 6th and 7th. He leads by 11 pins now. We're in the 7th frame. Saijo left a 10-pin here in his first shot, so Eagle with a couple of spares, and we're right back to the action now with Saijo and a 10-pin.
Actually, after he shoots his spare, I think the key thing for Saijo is that on the left lane, 51, it's very key for him to make this hit, because that'll set him up, as we call the foundation frame. And to do that, he's hit the right lane pretty well, even though he left a couple of 10-pins and a 4-pin here and there. But this is a key hit for Saijo.
11-pin lead now for Dale Eagle, once known as Dale Glenn. I guess in Miami in the early 80s, they all gave nicknames there for different birds, and Dale Eagle has stuck with him, and he kind of sometimes soars like an eagle. And Saijo strikes in the 9th. You talked about the foundation frame. Couldn't throw it any better than that.
That's for sure. And one thing he did, he threw the ball a little bit harder that particular time, and ended up solid in the pocket. Good move.
So now Eagle will finish out the match here in the 9th and 10th, try to put the heat on the young Japanese bowler, at least here on the senior circuit. Eagle leads by 11. A little high, solid 4-pin.
A little early release on that. He sort of lost it at the foul line. Ball hooked a little bit earlier for him than he wanted. 2, leaving the solid 4.
You know, I think what I like about bowling, you can be tall, small. I mean, Gary Dickinson and Dave Davis, but also Saijo at 5'5", 135 pounds, or Billy G way back when, and some of the other players. You have to be big to compete in this sport and compete at a top level.
It's all a matter of coordination of footwork and arm swing, push away, things like that. It's a matter of coordination, and these fellas can do it. Anybody can do it. A 200 or 300-pound person can do it.
Tight match here in the opening game here in the Showboat Senior. You bowled this week and started off real well. Averaged about 240 or so for 3 or 4 games, and then, you know, things happen.
Good night, Bill. Yeah, I had a little problems. My own fault.
We do have a possibility of a tie that kind of erases that, though, with the 2-8.
Tough spare. I don't know what he'll do. I don't know whether he'll hook the ball to this spare or whether he'll throw the ball straight to this spare.
We've seen, I've noticed, too, that last few years, a lot of players throw it straight at it, but then the lanes have changed a little bit where the guys are hooking a little bit more, so you're right. I think it will be interesting to see how Dale attacks this one. He really needs it.
He is going to hook the ball to it.
Eagle leads by 8.
Oh.
Came from the corner, and it seemed like the speed wasn't there, even if you hook it a little bit. And there's his wife, and I guess that tells it all right now, because certainly has opened the door for Saijo to walk right in and slam it back in his face.
Saijo needs at least a spare. If he strikes, it's all over with. He's the winner. If he spares, then he has to have 8 pins to win the match.
Saijo needs a spare. And the little trailer there, and I know you would have loved that one. That's the most reaction I think I've seen him here in this opening match. Very cool, calm, and collected, and the 10-pin can be difficult, especially at this time.
Yeah, he shot 3 10-pins in this game and made all 3. So
you want to make it a clean sweep here, and Saijo then can go on to match 2 against John Denton.
And making the spare. Now, the key thing, Phil, is that he needs 8 pins to win the match. If he gets 7, it's a tie game, and now we'll have a 9th and 10th roll-off for the match if he does get 7 pins, which will be 202.
Sometimes it's almost harder to throw and get 8 or 9 when you have to.
Throw that high hard one. That's what I say. Throw that high hard one.
You threw a few in your time. He's 8 to win. Tie game. Can you believe it? Probably the poorest shot I've seen throw the entire match.
Exactly. Now what happens, Phil, is that Dale Glenn will have to start like the 9th frame, like he would in the 9th frame on the left lane. Saijo will bowl the 9th and then the 10th.
We'll be back with more of the Showboat Senior Invitational from Showboat Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, after this. Senior Invitational, what a dandy of a tournament.
What can be more exciting?
I tell you what, I'm in for a great afternoon of bowling. I tell you, these guys, as we get now, it's similar to the 9th and 10th frames now, the regular game as Eagle throws it, and he got new life.
Yeah, he threw that ball extremely well, hard.
Well, you know, whoever wins the opening match has to have the advantage going up against John Denton in match 2. They know the lanes, breaking down a little bit of where to go.
Well, that's true. And there is a lane transition. You know, Saijo wanted to make sure that he hit that head pin. And I think he pushed the ball up a little bit on that throw ball of the 10th frame. A lot more speed that way.
Got a break.
Sure did.
It's a 3-pin, but Saijo looking like he's kind of a little tense now in the 9th and 10th frames of the last game, and here's a replay on that shot, but it seems like he's holding on to the ball and not really letting it go.
Like guiding the ball,
yeah.
Right, like guiding the ball. And you can't do that.
Got to let the ball work for you. Do that a lot better on the spare, and he's just got to loosen up a little bit.
There's a situation he's got to have, the more strikes you get naturally in the 10th frame, the better off he is. If he strikes it out, that'll give him a total of 50, where Dale Eagle will then have to have 2 strikes in the 10th. So
the winner to meet John Denton. Winner after that, Tita Semez, who's won 7 senior championships, and then who's on top again? Earl Anthony. Who's that?
Who is that guy?
He's back. 5-year layoff and already back in the
championship finals a couple of times here on the senior tour this year.
He's happy with that shot because he really lost it, and if you notice, he really came up over the left shoulder more or less to get the ball up.
You know, it's hard to imagine with players of this caliber. You can almost tell in your swing what you have to do almost near the foul line, and it seemed like he was going to lose it and was able to hit it hard enough where he got the strike.
Instinct. Great feeling.
Well, that's why they're down there and I'm sitting here. Saijo with 20 now. It's like a 9th and 10th frames of a regular game as he second shot on the 10th and leaves the bucket.
Important spare. He must make this spare. That'll give him a total of 40.
Chance for another tie.
A great chance of another tie. If Dale Eagle would get the strike, naturally it'd be over with. But if he leaves a spare, shoots a spare.
Do you think you learned anything from Dale Eagle when he shot the 2-8 before? Now you have the bucket here. Is he going to try to hook it a little bit too?
No, he'll shoot hard and straight at it. Hard and straight at it.
A lot of speed.
Oh, 39.
So he finishes, at least for now, with 39 through those 2 frames. And like you said, really important now because Eagle can go spare strike to win it.
He certainly can, Phil. And naturally, the strike just wipes everything out, and he's the winner. But he's had 2 4-pins on this last 2 shots on this particular right lane.
Will he move or just?
I think he'll speed up a little bit.
Showing some enthusiasm, a sliding opening game here as Eagle strikes there. And now he just needs a few pins, but what a big shot. And again, he threw a little bit harder. Great shot. He threw harder. Ball hit well, rolled the ball well.
Well, he can't ask for much more than a tie in the opening game here. And
just needs 1 pin.
That is for the victory. I think it looked to me like he's staying around there to get lined up for the next game.
Gives him 49 if he makes that spare.
So Dale Eagle comes back to win the opening match here in the PBA Senior Invitational at Showboat Lanes. He'll next meet John Denton coming up in a minute. For match 2 in the Showboat PBA Senior Invitational between John Denton and Dale Eagle. Eagle survived that one. He's not extinct.
Yes. He considers himself very lucky on that win because all Saijo needed was 8 pins. He got the 7 for the tie, and so Dale has to feel lucky.
Dale won that match. They both had 202. Dale against Masaaki, Saijo, and Eagle won in the roll-off. And now he's going to meet John Denton from Midland, Texas. It's been a while since Denton has won a tournament.
Quite a long time, yes.
About 20 years. Another break, though, for Eagle, so pins are starting to fall his way a little bit.
Well, that's the thing, Phil. You know, he got psyched up there a little bit. Really got pumped up, and he has to watch his speed now because if he gets too fast, he's in trouble. Why do you make it spare?
Well, if you're lucky in Vegas, you're going to do all right, aren't you?
Well, that's for sure.
Gets a spare, and you saw round by round with Eagle. Now you see John Denton up there. Started off, he was around the 20s or so all week long, and then made the big move when he bowled very well last night.
Extremely good bowler. The only thing is he has a lot of injuries. John Denton, Texas.
First shot.
Ooh, almost the 4-9, and 9 fell, so Denton starts it off through a pretty nice shot for his first shot here in match number 2. John says one of his hobbies, bass fishing. Going to have to reel one in here, I think. But 4-pin, it should be an easy spare for
Cross
John.
lane, he'll shoot pretty straight at it.
Covers nicely, so we start off here with a couple of spares in match 2. And, boy, the scores have been great all week. 56 games, though, and I'm not downgrading the seniors at all, but that's a lot of bowling.
It certainly is, Phil. And the guys have to be in good shape. The legs especially have to be in good shape. They just don't go out there just because the lane's 62 feet, 42 inches wide. They have to play with different bowling balls, different conditions.
I bowl 3 games a week. I got a rest after 2 of them, and there it is. Nice strike. Threw that ball very well, authoritatively. Threw that ball right in the pocket.
Certainly did. You know, as I was going to make a comment about spares, the guys always shoot pretty straight at their spares. They never try to hook the ball at the spares. So this is a tip for our viewers.
The average bowler out there just throw it pretty straight.
A little disruption there on the left lane. Rack came down on its own, so Dale Eagle backed off like he should. And
one thing watching Dale over the years, certainly focused, and I know, you know, that's overused word, focused, but certain players can rise to that level. He's one of them. That really his game, pretty basic.
Yeah. He's, I like to compare him to the Lee Trevino type. He plays to the crowd. He has to keep talking to somebody to keep himself loose.
Like Fuzzy Zeller, some of the players that really need that. Other players don't like to really talk to the crowd too much.
Well, that's like John Denton. John Denton doesn't talk to the crowd too much. He doesn't relate to anybody too much.
So Eagle feeds off that. Exciting bowler. Right, covers the 10-pin there. So Eagle starts with a couple of spares. Denton spare strike. We'll be back with more of match 2 in a minute. Las Vegas. There's the commissioner of the PBA, Mark Gerbrick, who's done a tremendous job. He wanted to institute the arena bowling finals, and I think next year 12 to 14 on the national tour will be in arena settings. He's done a tremendous job, and John Denton gets a nice strike, but there hasn't been that many commissioners or lead men in the PBA over all these years. Go back to Joe Antonora, of course, and Eddie Elias, who started it in the late 50s, but then Mike Connor, Firestone executive, took over for a few years. Mark Gerbrick has done a tremendous job. John Denton, we left you in the third frame or so. We're running a little long-winded at times, but he was down 1, and Dale Eagle now down 1. As we are in the heading into the 8th frame now, both players working on strikes, a very tight match.
It certainly is. John Denton has a 11-pin lead at this particular time.
That's right. He's working now on a 3-bagger, and that'll hurt.
That certainly does. Because, you know, in the 4th frame, John Denton left a 4-9, which is a pocket hit, actually, but just a little bit too strong. There again, he was a little bit too strong, leaving the solid 7. And that's really, that really hurts.
Still has about a 10-pin lead now as we are in the 8th frame. John Denton now leads by 10 over Dale Eagle, who won in overtime in match 1. Didn't shoot cross lane, kind of straight up with that.
Right straight down the lane with a surface that's really conducive to the lane condition. It just won't hook, and that's what most of the players are doing. Except there's an exception to the case. Dale Eagle this while ago shot the bucket and hooked the ball to the bucket. So
people don't realize what great shot makers you are. The senior tour, the national tour. Oh, he didn't make enough on this one, Dick, but nice strike there by Dale Eagle. And the crowd starting to come around, and like you said, he plays to the crowd here, and really a nice crowd all week long. The people here at the Showboat Bowling Center, they come in, and I don't know the betting line on who's going to win this one.
I don't either, Phil. Very knowledgeable crowd, though. You're right. Very knowledgeable. They know what's going on. They've been here for a number of years, and they've really supported the senior tour as well as the national tour. And, you know, by the way, Showboat's going to be our sponsor next year for the senior tour.
10 events, I believe. A kind of an umbrella sponsorship there. Just great to have Showboat involved. Great contingent from Japan.
Oh, yes, yeah.
To watch their Japanese bowler in match 1 who lost. Eagle.
Talking about Japan, too, after Eagle shoots a spare, the winner of this particular tournament goes to Japan to the Senior Japan Professional Bowler Association tournament.
Now they have, what, 16 seniors against 16 Japanese bowlers?
No, they have a full field of 100 or so. So you have to qualify.
Okay. Picks it up. And I know that Americans head over for the Japan Cup each year. That started in the 80s. That is worth 16 players, right? 16?
Yes, that's correct. 16 players against 16 players of Japan, and head-to-head matches all the way.
The Japan Cup, always an exciting event. Denton leads by 1, heading into the foundation frame. 9th frame. Came out of it. Oh, no problem. Those pins are heavy sometimes.
That's for sure, Phil.
You think with a 16-pound ball, the 3.5 or whatever the 3-pound, 5-ounce pins what they are would go down easier than that.
Sometimes we just can't understand those solid hits where you leave us as 8-pin or 10-pin or 4-pin. We just can't understand.
Another exciting match. The first one, we had a 2-frame roll-off, and here, a 1-pin game. John Denton leads by 1, can extend it to 11 with a strike here in the 10th. Whoa. We
have a chance for another tie.
Situation here. You're
Well, we can
exactly
be out here
right.
all afternoon and evening. That's all right. I've got 11 o'clock flight out tonight.
Spare here in the 10th by John Denton. And then a 9-pin count will give him 205, and Dale Eagle could strike and spare for 205 also. But a count is very important. Shoots cross lane at the 10-pin.
Denton mentioned he threw, 3 different balls all week, I guess, during the competition. Covers the 10 nicely, so John Denton now really needs the strike here.
He does need to strike. This will force Dale Eagle to get 2 strikes in the 10th frame to win the match. If John Denton gets 9, that'll be 205, and Dale Eagle could get a strike spare for the 205, another tie match.
Boy, some great action. Possible. Denton, of course, has won 1 PBA national tournament. Has not won on the senior tour with that PBA national back in 1977. So I believe that was in Toledo. It's been a while, but he's going to have to go through Tito Simmons and Earl Anthony. Either one of these players, that's not easy.
All these guys are tough, Phil. Oh, 205.
Well, definitely a possibility for a 5. Yep.
The crowd knows. They know there's a possibility of a tie.
Like I said, the scores have been great all week. 4 300 games, 4 or 5 299 games. I believe Dale Eagle in the final game last night shot 288.
287?
287?
Right.
I was watching, but I couldn't get a front row seat like you have. How'd you get that ticket up there?
Well, you know, I paid
I
somebody.
know. You've been around a little bit. Speaking of great players, Dick Weber has won at least 1 PBA tournament each of the past 5 decades. Only player ever to have done that.
You have to have lady luck on your side, Phil. You have to have lady luck.
You still look 38.
Thanks. Dale Eagle needs this strike. Needs this strike at least. To have a chance to win the match or tie.
Looks like he threw it pretty well, and there's the reaction. Now, you didn't see much reaction from his wife, Jean. That's because she knows what's at stake. It's not over yet, but he threw that ball with the... Really came out of that nicely.
A lot of authority. A lot of authority.
Perhaps his best shot all afternoon, I think, and especially in this clutch situation, the strike here to win it.
That's right. When you're talking about the wife, she's not saying much, not showing much emotion, but that's the toughest seat in the world. I know. I watched my son Pete, so it's tough.
Your wife, Juanita, watched you many times, didn't she?
Yes, she said that's the toughest seat in the world.
I heard she lines you up all the time, Dick, but...
we won't go into that.
No, that's all right. Pete's doing well?
Yes, thanks. Yes.
Strike, and it's over. Eagle will go on to the semifinal game. Unbelievable.
He needs this spare for a tie.
Well, boy, that look there by Jean, that stare. Honey, you're not doing your job.
He really pulled the shot, threw the ball terrible.
Spare here, and we have a tie at 205. Got it. So, a little extra action for you here in the Showboat Senior Invitational.
What more could you want, Phil?
We'll be back with more of the Showboat Senior Invitational from Showboat Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, after this. Showboat Bowling Center, we pick up the action now. John Denton and Dale Eagle tied after regulation, another tie game. So we pick up the action now in sudden death.
I've seen a tie match before, but not 2, like you say.
2 times. First time ever on the senior tour, I believe that the first 2 matches have gone a little bit extra. So you're seeing history. Once again, this is similar to the 9th and 10th frame of the regular game, and got away with that because left the baby split. Leaves just the 3 pins standing, so it should be an easy spare for Denton.
First bad shot he's made on that left lane. Leaving the 3 pin, he'll shoot straight at it, cross lane.
And then converts. So the first game, a tie at 202. Dale Eagle won that one over Saijo, the Japanese bowler, and now 205-205. First time that 2 consecutive matches, have gone a little extra. So you're seeing history in it. That's nice to be a part of that.
Yes, it is.
You know?
Yes, it is. Let's see if he makes the good execution there. He threw the ball terrible the second shot in the 10th frame. He can't get his thumb adjusted. Now he's got it set.
Barry Asher had problems doing that for a while, I think. I remember way back. High again, and he threw a great shot that first ball of the 10th frame, and then had problems, and it seems now that he's getting a little fidgety.
Never, yes, tension's there, naturally. Going to shoot cross lane with the shot. 6-pin.
He'll go to that alley ball. It looks like one, but it's not.
Let me ask you a question.
Picks it up.
Here we got two guys. One's got John Denton's got 1 national title. Eagle's got 3. They both have 4 regional titles. Who you picking? Tough question.
Oh boy, I'd hate to say anything, because then that'll get back to me. And but you're picking Anthony, I think, aren't you? No, we'll see what happens a little bit later on.
I never picked a favorite.
Nah. One thing about Dick Weber that you may not know, and I didn't know it until I was looking at a little history, but 72 straight times you cashed in PBA events. That's amazing to me. There's some upcoming tournaments coming up. The 9th, the National Bowling Stadium, the Reno PBA Senior Open. That's the finals there. Then the August 12th through the 17th, Freddie Borden's plays at Stonehenge. The ABC Senior Masters, 60 grand first prize on that one.
17 PBA, ABC Hall of Famers at that particular tournament.
Eagle threw a great shot there, so still not over. And I want to get back to the 72 straight cashes. It's amazing to me in golf.
Byron Nelson won 11 straight PGA events. That to me is amazing. But 72 straight tournaments you cashed in. I don't care who you're bowling. Could have been me. I think I beat you.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm not going to give you a handicap, though.
It's 72 straight tournaments. Upcoming schedule there, Airport Lanes, the finals on August 30th, and the Jackson PBA Senior Championships in Jackson, Michigan, always a favorite stop.
All the proceeds go to the hospice in Jackson.
In Jackson?
Mm-hmm. Great tournament.
The senior tour has come a long way. We started off with 1 or 2 tournaments earlier on, up to 14, 16 this year, I guess, overall.
14 tournaments this year. Important strike here. Oh, boy, it light.
It's interesting because they're throwing some good shots. And that shot there, I noticed yesterday watching in the afternoon and evening, carried a lot of time.
Oh, yeah. You always threw the 5-pin into the 7, or else you got the wall shot. 5-7 off the wall.
So Eagle now will pick up that 7-pin, put the pressure right back on John Denton.
Situation, Phil, he has to have a strike the first ball, at least. If he gets 2 strikes, he's a winner. If he strikes and spares, it's another tie, and they go right back through the 9th and 10th frame again.
I can't remember that happening. Well, I'm sure it's happened before when they've gone to a second sudden death.
Escapes my memory.
You have such a sharp memory.
Yeah.
Sharp as a tack. John Denton.
Yes. Not much emotion from him.
No, John never does show much emotion. He might give it a little knee bend at a time or something like that.
And you talked about his knee. He's had some problems over his career.
Oh, he's had a tremendous amount of injuries, and his wife says he's a bionic man.
So Denton with that clutch strike.
Another tie game, another tie match if he makes this 6-pin. Another tie match if he makes this 6-pin.
You don't have an early flight, do you?
No, I do not. I don't leave until tomorrow.
It's been exciting. Although, you always got to make this fair. Never take it for granted.
And Denton and Eagle going at it here in match 2. Eagle won the opening match over Masaaki Saijo, the Japanese bowler. Now Eagle and Denton.
It's not that all easy, Phil. You know, people say, well, the guy choked, but it's not that. It's you want to make that perfect shot. You try to be extra careful, and just things don't work out that way.
He's picking up the speed, it looks like, a little bit as the match has gone on, or at least the afternoon has gone on. And the opening game, it looked like he was playing for the ball to hook a little bit. Now it's a little bit more straighter and harder.
That was always my plan. Throw high and hard. Throw high and hard. You're always around the pocket that way. Take my chances. Makes a spare, a 4-pin spare. All right, John Denton will be bowling the 9th and 10th frame consecutively here.
And Eagle has left an awful lot of 4-pins. Is it, for the average bowler, is there an adjustment you can make? But you don't want to move too much because you're right in the pocket.
If you can move 1/32 of an inch, you'll be all right.
Well,
You got that
Earl Anthony told me one time in Toledo that he moved a quarter of a board, or threw it, and I said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But he won, and has won 41 titles. That's the guy on top, Earl Anthony. Denton now with the 4-pin, and looking for the spare once again. The 9th and 10th frames of a regular game. That's what this is all about. This is their second time around.
Second tie match. Second tie roll-off.
Picks up the spare nicely. So John Denton, and he really has bowled well all week. He started off 18th after the opening round, fell to 26th after round 2, and really hung around, but really made the move last night. He bowled some tremendous games in the final 8 games of the match play last night. Went from 12th up to 3rd for our televised finals here on Prime.
And Eagle was never really in contention until the last round.
That's right. They both, in fact, they both were tied for 12th after the 6th round, and made the big jump there in the final 8 games. Nice shot there for Denton. One of these players, they have to learn to duplicate the shot.
Well, I know John Denton wants to duplicate this shot here. He wants this one bad. And it's been so long since he's won, and of course Eagle too. But
the player that will meet the winner of this match when it is over is Tita Semez. He's won 7 senior tournaments, veteran in this field.
And Tita's been around a long time. Yeah, good bowler.
So
he likes that.
Back to back.
John likes that because he lost the ball at the foul line. He got by with it.
So Denton now with the first 2 strikes here in the 10th frame, as you can see. Got the roll at the end, though.
Oh, yes. A good rolling ball. This is a very important count here. If he strikes, he makes Dale Eagle get 3 strikes.
With all the knee problems, it doesn't look like the deep knee bend is not there for John, but you have to account for that some other way in your swing, I guess, because you really need that deep knee bend. But he counters with a double 9 in the 10th frame, so it's all up to Eagle now, and he knows what he has to do, and that is strike.
Eagle needs 2 and 9 to tie, 3 to win.
Quit saying that tie stuff now. We've gone through this a couple times. All right, 3 strikes, and Dale will move on, but I don't think Dale has thrown 3 strikes all afternoon in a row.
He's having a hard time with his thumb. He's really trying to get the thumb in the thumb hole. Brings it down, then he readjusts again.
He has 2 different colored shoes. I don't well, that's Dale.
One slides and one's good for gripping.
Got to take it 1 shot at a time. Needs a strike here to go on. It is not over, ladies and gentlemen. A nice shot for Dale, but he's got to do that a couple more times to move on now.
He likes his lane when he's loose. Of course, when he needed that 1 strike to shut John out, why, he was the ball terrible. But we all do that.
Were you involved in a few tie matches there?
Never in my life on TV. I was never,
is that right?
Never involved in a tie match.
Because I know early on in the PBA days, didn't have television, early 50s and 60s. There was television, but not for the PBA. As Dale Eagle throws a decent shot left in 10 pin, and that's it. Winner John Denton. So John Denton now survives match 2. He will move on to the semifinal game to meet up with Tita Semez. And Semez has won 7 senior tournaments. We'll have that game coming up in a minute. We're back here to Showboat Bowling Center, ready for our semifinal game between Tita Semez and John Denton. Should be an exciting match. Tita's won 7 tournaments on the senior tour.
He certainly has. He's performed well this year on the senior tour. So,
at the ripe old age of 62 or so, I guess he could join you in elite company there. I guess the oldest.
Be careful there,
player to win PBA senior events. First shot by Tita Semez. Looks like he's playing a little bit different line than the other boulders, kind of swinging it out a little bit.
Really didn't throw that ball well. Really released and never got through the ball well at all.
It's great just being here with 2 individuals that I think have meant the world to bowling, everything to bowling. Dick Weber, of course, and Earl Anthony, the leader. Earl, didn't take you long to figure out things out here, did it?
Well, it did, as a matter of fact, Bill. It took me a little longer to figure out this particular bowling center as far as the learning the bowling balls. That's the key. Learning the bowling balls, Richard, right?
That's exactly right, Earl.
Boy, I tell you, what a different game it is than it was even 5 years ago.
Surface and weights, surface and weights.
Yeah.
Being the top seed, certainly won 41 national titles, 4 senior events, but you've been off for 5 years. What really got you back to bowling?
I'm just trying to do a little promoting, Phil, more than anything. I'm just trying to see if I can create more interest in the game. You know, we can't afford to lose people like Dick Weber and Carmen Salvino and people of that stature. And I felt like physically I could come out and bowl again, so I figured why not.
We're happy to have you, Earl. Really.
Thanks, Dick.
Dan threw a nice shot there. Earl, with the reaction from the fans and from the players, it's just been great for you.
It has. I've been really pleasantly surprised. Just about everybody in the field has come up and they shake my hand, say we're really happy to have you back. Most of them aren't sincere, but you know, it's nice to hear anyway.
Especially when you win, Earl.
Yeah.
Right, Earl?
The first tournament back in Seattle, finished, what, second, I believe?
Finished second. Felt very fortunate just to make the first cut. John Denton looks like he's lined up pretty good here, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's throwing the ball real well.
I think Tita's first shot was just kind of a safety, you know, just not get in trouble out of the gate here, give it a little room, and make sure that we get something we can make.
Well, don't you think the first shot on TV, you know, you're always a little bit...
Well, not for you, for the rest of us.
Come on.
You won here in, what, 1990, I believe?
It's the only time I ever won. I had 7 seconds on the national tour, and I beat Tita here in the senior event.
Tito Semet, better shot there.
I've got a question. 41 titles.
Mm-hmm.
How many seconds?
Yeah, boy.
43 on the regular tour and 2 on the senior tour.
The Jack
3 on the senior tour now.
Jack Nicklaus of bowling, no doubt about it. I think,
How many seconds of those seconds did you lead the tournament?
I don't have any idea. I really don't.
Amazing.
I made like 130 TV shows out of about 370 events. Bowling was pretty good to me.
Semez converts there. I was there when you won in Toledo, the PBA National in the early 80s or so, that you went over the $1 million mark, the first player ever to do that, and you dominated there in the National, what, 6 PBA National titles?
Won that 6 times, yeah.
Phil, I don't have any statistics, but this man has won titles and cashed well in terms where no other left-hander has done well. And tremendous record.
Last week or a couple of weeks ago, Earl finished 33rd cash, but there was no other lefty to cash in that tournament. Is that correct?
Right, yeah, that's correct. But, you know, I don't think that's a really a good indication of anybody's ability. It's just I happened to find something. I was playing inside. The other lefties were trying to play outside. I was playing between 3rd and 4th arrow.
You're so humble. You're so humble.
That's not humble.
I just think it's very interesting to lay off for 5 years. You didn't do a lot of bowling. I'm sure you picked up
Didn't do any bowling.
Okay, and to come out in the first tournament and you're in 2nd place, to me that's amazing. Wasn't it tough physically?
No, not. My legs have always been strong, and I do a lot of walking. And as you mentioned, play golf. I walk the golf course.
You walk it in the woods sometimes, and
I chase my ball in the woods, yeah, and I don't come out until I find it. By golly.
I got to correct you on that. It's a 2 handicap, man.
John Denton with little messenger there.
Not my
For that, so Denton seems to be bowling very well. Got lined up, although he had a few extra frames in the last game to get lined up.
The one bad shot in the second ball of the 10th frame of the game against Eagle. He really threw that ball terrible. Pulled the ball just like a lot of us have. But
well, the lane condition doesn't look to be quite as scoreable as it was during the week. You know, and part of that is nervousness, as you mentioned. The guys are a little nervous. The TV cameras, a huge crowd here at the show.
Well, the lights play a big lights.
John is getting relaxed now. He's making good shots. You can see he's not rushing the line anymore. He's getting set, and he's getting really balanced at the foul line, getting through the ball well.
I don't want to say who you'd rather face because you are...
I like to play the best player, and that way if I win, I beat the best. And unfortunately, Dick's not playing, so maybe that might be Tita. Tita's the best player out there, but John Denton is bowling very well.
How long are you going to stay on the senior tour then?
Probably through with Florida, and then we'll see what happens.
Oh, doggone.
Big event coming up in a couple of weeks at Stonehenge Place in Akron. The ABC Masters, $60,000 first there. We're going to be back with more of this semifinal match from Showboat Bowling Center in a minute. We're here in the semifinal match. Tito Semez bowling in the 9th frame. We've been away a little bit, but Tito Semez is in trouble because John Denton has the first 8 strikes, and that would mean a little extra cash for him, $10,000. But John Denton throwing the ball so well, and he has the first 8 strikes. And unfortunately, in bowling with Tita, took him a few frames to get adjusted. But in bowling, sometimes you don't have a few frames. John Denton has taken that away here by striking the first 8 frames.
In a one-game match, Phil, you've got to make that adjustment right away. Of course, Tita did slow down a little bit, but not like John. John has really got his tempo real well.
Ladies and gentlemen, 8 in a row, the first 8. He has won the match. I don't want to jinx him.
A little high.
Pulled it. Yep, pulled it a little bit. Now, it's just a matter of getting set to bowl his biggest game in a long time against one of the all-time greats, Earl Anthony.
The great one, right, that's for sure.
We will be back for the championship match between John Denton and Earl Anthony, who's won 41 national titles for senior titles, in a minute. Showboat PBA Senior Invitational, John Denton against a guy who has won a few titles, Earl Anthony, 41 national tour titles, 4 on the senior tour, and he's certainly had a few seconds, as he had mentioned, but you don't want to think about that right now. Denton has thrown the ball very well.
Yes, he is. He's had 26 strikes and or 19 strikes in the 2 games, plus the 2 ties, so...
Doesn't matter which lane, I guess. He's striking on both of them.
That's right. He's 11 on the left lane and 8 on the right.
Denton will start the championship match, $20,000 to the winner, and the senior title here. John Denton in rare form, and it looks like nerves have not bothered him at all. He hasn't won since 1977. We talked about that. Earl Anthony has not won in a while. That's because he took 5 years off the senior tour. In 1990, he won here, but has not bowled for about 5 or 5.5 years. Came back and has just bowled very well since he's come back.
What he's done, Phil, in the last 4 tournaments is just remarkable. He's a tremendous individual. He concentrates so hard. He's very demanding himself and gets the job done.
Leaves a solid 7-pin on his opening shot. There you see it, 66th after the opening round, 58th after round 2, and then look out as he moved up. And he led by over 500 pins after yesterday afternoon's match play. And he said the toughest part for him, he knew that he was going to be the top seed, but you got to remain focused and get ready for television today.
Yeah, I was talking to him, and he said, the thing it is, he says, I want to get this over with. He says, my mind is wandering. He says, I just don't know what to do.
And he led the event by about 558 pins or so over second place Tito Semez, who lost to John Denton in our semifinal match. There's the Earl Anthony we have grown to know and love and I admire. There you go. And the other players, all the players that I've talked to just said it is certainly great to have Earl out there. And there's a great bowler. She is 20-year-old.
Alicia Carnes, former Miss Nevada bowling team.
That's right, and 180 average she has. That's not
bad at all.
And I think she has a few careers she can work on, whether it's the LPPT or modeling or I think she's going for Miss Nevada. Now, she was Miss Nevada teen. Now she's going to take it a step farther. Alicia Carnes, once again, 180 average bowler. And she started bowling when she was like 5 years old. Went through the junior program here. And that's what it's all about, to become a competitive bowler.
John Denton leaving the 3-pin, making the 3-pin. But, you know, Phil, I think 3 times on this particular right lane, John Denton has pulled the ball in crucial shots. And this is early in the game, but a crucial shot in the second frame.
For Denton, he's bowling Earl Anthony. Doesn't matter if he's bowling Earl Anthony or some other player. I mean,
you don't give Earl Anthony anything, period.
He will jump on that. Tie game through 2 frames. Denton in the third, and another strike. So he has recorded strikes on that left lane and has really struck all afternoon long. John Denton, last title, 1977. Been a long time. Earl Anthony, of course, 41 national championships. Leads in that category. And Dick Weber close behind with 26. So
first bowler who had $1 million.
Left a 7-pin again, so both times on that lane. Left a 7. It looks like he made a little adjustment because the first one he threw in the first frame is kind of a ringing 7. That one, a little bit different angle coming in.
A little bit slower speed on that. I don't know if that's Earl. That's his game. He can adjust speed so quickly and so nicely.
You got to love that swing. Oh yes, by Earl Anthony, because he doesn't miss the pocket too often.
There's no error in the swing. It's simple.
And really, you know, if you look at the young bowlers today, the ones that really crank the ball up, throw it out, but if you look at an Earl Anthony, this will go through the test of time, won't it? Because you can bowl a long time throwing the ball like this, and he's made it work.
Certainly you can. You know, he's up in the age a little bit, but he's in good shape. Got good legs, like you mentioned.
Tie match, Anthony in the fourth frame. High on that one. And breaks it up, leaving just the 6-pin. So Anthony here, nobody's been able to take charge in this match. And like I said, Anthony started off slow in this event, but he's done that on the senior circuit so far since coming back. The 4 or 5 events that he's bowled in, he started off slow and then picked up steam and has bowled quite well. Very well.
Cross lane, that's the 6-pin.
So Anthony covers. And it's Earl Anthony going up against John Denton in the championship game of the Showboat PBA Senior Invitational. Back with more in a minute.
This young man, JUNICHI, YAJIMA, 1967, tremendous bowler. One of our participants here at the Showboat Invitational.
The Earl Anthony of the Japan Pro Tour. They do have a tour over there. 37 titles.
Oh, yes. He's been around. He instructs quite a bit over in Japan. Good man.
John Denton against Earl Anthony, and Denton with a solid 10-pin. So once again, like all our matches so far, except for the semifinal game where John Denton bowled very well, beating Tito Smez, but a tight game here to start this championship match. $20,000 top prize and the beautiful trophy to go along with it here in the PBA Senior Invitational at Showboat Lanes.
Plus a trip to Japan into the winter.
Denton seems on an even keel, you know, which is good.
And you've watched him bowl many, many years. But not much excitement there. Throw the ball. Workmanlike.
Very calm, laid-back individual. Never gets that excited or emotional out on the approach. Maybe in the background, in the paddock he does. But
Denton leads now by just 1 pin as he steps up in the 5th frame against Earl Anthony.
Seemed to have a pretty good arm swing on that one. Came through it, leaving a solid 10-pin once again. So Denton, in this match, may come down to making those spares.
That's for sure. Here's the profile of John Denton. Well, watch the back, the straight back. Good extension, nice follow-through, good knee bend.
Denton here working in the 5th frame of a tie ball game between Anthony and Denton.
He picks it up. Now, Earl talked before about the different bowling surfaces, and that was the toughest thing for him to really get to learn, and it is very difficult. That and the weights of bowling equipment now.
When we say weights, we're not talking about the total weight of the bowling ball. We're talking about side weights, top weights, and so on. And it's very important out on the tour today.
And the resin-type surface is now totally different.
Sometimes you have a sanded bowling ball. Sometimes you have a highly polished ball and all that. And
boy, I tell you what, sometimes out here in Vegas, you roll the dice and come up snake eyes, don't you?
That's for sure. And, you know, watching Earl practice, he didn't like the right lane, so that's the reason he chose to have John Denton start on the left lane, whereas Earl could finish on the left lane. And,
Earl with the split in the open in the 5th frame. So
Earl Anthony now down by 14 halfway through this game.
you never count him out, though. Never count him out.
I watched Jack Nicklaus for many years, and the look in his face, and keeps on competing, and Earl Anthony has that same look.
Beautiful shot there on 51, but you had mentioned we'll have to wait until he comes up on 52 of the right-hand lane next time.
I'm sure he'll use a little more speed on that particular lane. But now John Denton has left two solid 10s the last two pitches on the right lane and the left lane. So he will not make any adjustments. He'll just keep pounding the pocket.
Earl, with a win today, could move up into second place on the money list for this year for the senior tour. Certainly pocketed a lot of change over the years.
Oh, he's a little bit high. Tried to make the adjustment. You know, sometimes when you leave that solid 10, Phil, you have a tendency to move in a little bit, let the ball drift back, and then get into a good roll so you can have the 6-pin kick that 10-pin out. But
when you move in a little bit or move left, do you find that you tend to pull it a little bit still? Or
you're tightened up a little bit. Tightened up a little bit. You never want to let the ball round too far to the right.
And roll out at the end. Or
spare for Denton in the 6th frame of this title match. And again, the score is high all week. When you get to the television day, like we talked about, the lights, I don't think people realize, but they certainly can move the oil around a little bit.
The lights have a little bit of effect on the dressing.
Dry up the lanes.
You're a little bit more tense, too. One game, you've got to win. If you lose, you're automatically out. So you're tensed up a little bit.
Denton got them all. Beautiful shot there. I know that Dave Davis led a tournament, I believe. Led the 770 pins, but I think lost that tournament. But
Earl, of course, leading by 500 and some pins. And you had those 8 games last night, and he was up 500 pins going into last night's 8 games. But you don't want to say that that causes a problem, but
mentally it does. Mentally it does. Here I led the tournament by 500 and some odd pins. Now I got to bowl one game and win.
I think you talked about it right there, the key shot, and it doesn't take him more than one shot to figure it out.
For sure. Adjust greatly to lane conditions. He adjusts greatly with the speed.
With that strike, Earl now down 2 pins. A strike here, he's up 8. So big shot here in the 8th frame, and he seems right now on this lane. He's got a spare and a strike, so he feels a little bit more comfortable in 51, but I think he's figured that out in 52. Unfortunately for Denton, maybe, but.
Got it. Earl running it out a little bit. You got to like that.
He's got that. He's got that fire in his eyes. That's for sure. You can see the arm come up.
I think, you know, here you go.
Watch your reaction here. Watch your reaction here.
Yeah, he knows that was a key shot there, too, and now he comes up on 52 in a minute. But with Earl, I'd like to see his bowling style or his swing 15 or 20 years ago compared to today, because I bet it hasn't varied much.
I wouldn't think that 1 degree.
Denton needs a big strike here. And
oh, he got one off the wall. My favorite hit.
You always packed him and just left the 4 pin.
No.
Now you're going to that.
I didn't know what a solid pocket hit was. Here's the reaction.
There you have it off
4
the
pin comes
sideboard.
around, gets a 7.
So Denton, he really needed that one.
Oh, Earl didn't like that too well.
Some players watch their opponents. Did you watch?
I always watch. I always watch.
Because the crowd reaction will certainly tell you the story.
Denton in the 9th. Again, sought it. Got the 5 pin and a strike. So Denton now with a 3-bagger, and he is up by 12.
Comes now to Earl Anthony, and you mentioned it on this lane. I think this could be the key shot because
there will be no let up on this shot. He'll keep his speed up. He found it the last frame on this lane.
Ninth frame for Anthony.
Oh.
A little high in the 6 pin, and I think he was saying I threw a pretty good shot.
He did. He threw a good shot. Nothing you can do about the solid 6, but just a bad break.
He carried it very well all week, and there you have it. So Anthony needs this one and a strong finish.
And the match isn't over yet. Denton has been sitting there, and he's got to come up in the 10th frame, and he's got to perform yet. So
a lot going through his mind.
Earl knows all this. If he strikes out, he gets 214. He knows John will have to have a good count, and he knows John has pulled the ball a few times on this particular right lane.
Frame for Earl.
Yep, no doubt about it. Earl bowled well all week.
He's shaking his head, but he's got to get that last shot out of his mind over on the right lane. And he knows he has to have this in. Good count.
On this TV pair, he's bowled 3 games, averaging 254. A little bit different today, but overall, just he started off this tournament with a 190, but after that, after that first round. Really, it is a big shot here.
He can force Denton to do something in that 10th frame, and he's going to do just that.
Right.
Earl's going to say, you know, if you're going to win, you're going to have to earn it.
Make the guy earn it, and make the guy mark. That's a good mark.
He needs, you know, Denton needs like 8 spare strike or so in that 10th frame if Earl strikes here to win the match.
Exactly.
And so Earl, what he's forced him to do here was get a spare, and you know, it's not always that easy. Sometimes it's almost easier if you need a strike than a spare.
Oh, bad count, bad count.
Well, 212 for Earl Anthony. Our tournament leaders had that open in the 5th frame, the big split there.
But John Denton, it is not over. And We have seen 3 ties during the show today. That's a PBA first.
The key thing for John to do is make sure that he does not pull the ball.
Threw it out.
Oh, see, it's not over with yet.
And the count is really going to hurt him.
Oh, that's for sure. He needs this spare. He needs this spare.
Wow. Needs a spare and a strike to win.
Right.
He needs to pick up the bucket. 2, 4, 5, 8, and then a strike to win. It'll be his first title since 1977.
John's taking these balls at hooks. What he'll do, I figure he throws the ball straight, but
set it down.
Covers nicely, and I tell you what, under a pressure situation, that's like making about an 8-footer on the PGA circuit, because the buckets certainly know, we've seen it today. The 2-8 or the 2-4-5-8's been very difficult, and he converts there. So now,
not an easy spare, not an easy thing to do to get 10 pins down here.
A strike, and he wins by 1 pin. He struggled a little bit on 52.
Right.
Can't hear any slot machines on this shot.
Shot. Got it. Oh, unbelievable. In the clutch, John Denton picks up the bucket, and then perhaps the shot of his career.
That was the shot of his career, that's for sure. He said this was the ultimate thing for him. He made the shot, carried 213, 212.
A win for John Denton. Back in a minute.
Ray and I set up shop here in the 60s. Man doesn't have a lazy bone in his body. Some time ago, his hands began bothering him. He'd go about his business, but was taking a lot of pills. So our doctor said to try leave.
You know, I could take just 2 Aleve all day. Says so on the label.
Was that all you were taking 4?
With Tylenol, it was 6.
Just 2 leaves is all he takes. What could be easier? Ray's in every day except Sunday.
Gotta get my fishing in sometime. Aleve. All day strong, all day long.
Where's that baby? I brought you a little something. A little something. Yummy.
Hey, thanks.
A little goodie.
Good news for anyone who's ever eaten for 2. The same medicine you keep handy for upset stomach and diarrhea also comforts indigestion.
I never knew that.
As Pepto-Bismol coats, it helps strengthen your stomach's protection against too much food and drink.
How's my baby?
Much better thing.
When you overdo it, take comfort in Pepto.
This is my idea of a challenge. So when I took the high endurance challenge from Old Spice, that's what I thought I was getting into. What I got was a sure thing. High endurance deodorant. It evaporates less quickly than the leading stick. It also lasts longer and protects better. Old Spice even guarantees it. Or call 1-800-PROVE-IT and they'll buy you a stick of yours. So if you're looking for a real challenge,